One of W.P. Carey's non-traded REITs recently purchased a student residence hall in Jacksonville, Florida. Here to talk about the strategy behind that deal is W.P. Carey Vice President Zach Passanen. Nice to see you here first off.
Nice to see you again as well.
So this is an unusual deal. Student housing is not typically an area that we see you in. What was behind it? Why this deal? Why now?
Sure. Well, W.P. Carey is constantly looking to build on its proven track record of investing in credit deals with strong real estate components. And in this case, it very much is an untraditional type of asset, but sort of traditional in the type of investing we do. It's a mission critical asset, a long-term net lease with a pretty strong credit attached to it in Jacksonville University. And so a combination of all those things really led to us pursuing this and ultimately closing the deal.
So now that you've completed this transaction, do you foresee other ones? Is there a trend of more students requiring residence halls and living on campus?
Yeah, well, in the case of Jacksonville University, that's certainly what they've transitioned to, is requiring students in the first 3 years to live on campus. And so this was the first new student housing facility about 50 years. And so we recognize this was a mission critical asset with sort of providing an unmet need that students really required there. In terms of the overall student housing sector, it's really a supply and demand issue. They're sort of limited by the physical constraints. So if you have a university in a dense market like New York City, it's a little more challenging to build, a high rise for student housing. But in the case of Jacksonville University, bucolic setting, large acreage, this was part of a master plan to really develop around the neighboring land and ultimately, sort of position Jacksonville University for the next phase of the university.
So could we see other trends like this in parts of the U.S. or even globally for that matter?
Yeah, I think certainly globally we've done a lot more in Europe. In the U.S. I think it's still a challenge. One of the unique things about this deal is really the credit here is Jacksonville University, which is a university that's been around for over 90 years. Their enrollments have grown almost 90% over the last 15 years. So it's sort of difficult to compare the two, but certainly we were pleased with the outcome of this investment.
So you mentioned some of the criteria you looked at. In terms of additional acquisitions, what would be some key criteria that would make another deal attractive?
Sure. Well, certainly the most important thing is mission criticality. So this, as I mentioned, was a new freshman student housing facility, the first in 50 years, and that really helped drive the deal. But we're ultimately looking for long-term income-generating properties with strong risk-adjusted returns. And so in this case, we were able to get the university, it was under a 19-year lease, strong rental increases, and we think provided an attractive yield for the CPA 17 investors.
So for developers and owners of student housing facilities, do you anticipate that more of them will access sale-leaseback financing in terms of funding additional new projects?
Yeah, I certainly hope so, because it was a good deal and a great outcome for a local developer here. I think the challenge is always trying to secure that lease and that credit entity. But if developers are creative and looking to work with universities or with other tenants to really sort of position those credits for the next stage of their development, whether it's an office facility, manufacturing facility, or student housing facility, there are attractive opportunities for both developers and for investors like W.P. Carey and the CPA 17.
Zach Passanen, interesting deal. Glad you came by to talk about it.
Thank you so much.
I'm Rhonda Schaffler for The Deal.